The mainstream media has been known to perpetuate false narratives and misinformation about various topics, including historical and religious figures like Jesus. It is essential to examine the possible reasons behind this phenomenon, particularly in the context of Jesus, who is a central figure in Christianity. The media's portrayal of Jesus is often influenced by a combination of factors, including sensationalism, ideological agendas, and a lack of understanding of the historical and cultural context in which Jesus lived. One reason for the media's propensity to distort the truth about Jesus is the quest for ratings and readership. Sensational stories and scandals tend to attract more attention than factual, nuanced account. By exaggerating or fabricating aspects of Jesus' life and teachings, the media can create a more compelling narrative that captures the audience's imagination. This approach is particularly evident in documentaries and films that claim to reveal new or shocking information about Jesus, often based on unverifiable sources or speculative interpretations. Another factor contributing to the media's misrepresentation of Jesus is ideological bias. Some media outlets and journalists may have a vested interest in discrediting or undermining Christianity, often as part of a broader agenda to challenge traditional values or promote secularism. By portraying Jesus in a negative or distorted light, these outlets can subtly undermine the credibility of Christianity and its followers. This bias can be reflected in the selective presentation of historical evidence, the manipulation of quotes, or the omission of context that might contradict the media's narrative. The media's lack of understanding of the historical and cultural context in which Jesus lived is another significant factor contributing to the distortion of his image. Jesus' teachings and actions must be understood within the framework of first-century Jewish culture and the social, political, and religious landscape of the time. However, many media outlets and journalists lack the necessary expertise or background knowledge to accurately interpret the historical records and contextualize Jesus' message. As a result, they often rely on superficial or anachronistic interpretations that bear little resemblance to the actual historical context. Furthermore, the media's portrayal of Jesus is often influenced by contemporary cultural and social trends. In an era where traditional values and institutions are increasingly being challenged, the media may seek to reinterpret Jesus' teachings in a way that aligns with modern sensibilities. This can involve portrayals of Jesus as a radical social activist, a feminist, or a proponent of liberal ideologies, often at the expense of his actual teachings in the historical record. While it is legitimate to explore the relevance of Jesus' message to contemporary issues, such approaches often involve a significant degree of creative license and a disregard for the historical context. In addition to these factors, the media's misrepresentation of Jesus can also be attributed to the influence of secularism and the declining role of religion in public life. As religion becomes increasingly marginalized in modern society, the media may feel less constrained to present accurate or respectful portrayals of religious figures like Jesus. The erosion of traditional values and the rise of secularism can create an environment in which the media feels emboldened to challenge or ridicule religious beliefs, including those related to Jesus. In conclusion, the mainstream media's propensity to make up lies about Jesus can be attributed to a complex array of factors, including sensationalism, ideological bias, a lack of understanding of the historical context, and the influence of contemporary cultural trends. By recognizing these factors and approaching media portrayals of Jesus with a critical and nuanced perspective, audiences can better discern fact from fiction and gain a more accurate understanding of this pivotal historical figure. Ultimately, it is essential to rely on credible sources, such as scholarly research and historical records, to form a well-informed opinion about Jesus and his teachings, rather than relying on sensational or distorted media accounts.